What's good? What's good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Urban Platform Speaks. Make sure to like and subscribe as you come into the channel and check out the content. And with that being said, I want to talk about a story that I just heard on a podcast of Jamal Mashburn was telling a story about Larry Bird. And uh, Larry Bird, they were playing basketball. I think they were playing like a pickup game, and Larry Bird and Magic Johnson and some other players were there. A young player by the name of Rodney Rogers was there, right? And so for people who don't know Rodney Rogers was a he came out of Wake Forest. He played at Wake Forest. I think Rodney Rogers probably was like about 6'7", 6'6", 6'7", somewhere around there. But he was a big dude, right? And a big, strong guy. As a matter of fact, Rodney Rogers, his first year in the ACC, he won Rookie of the Year. And then in 1993, 91, he won Rookie of the Year. 93, he won ACC Player of the Year. And I think that was the year he was drafted. I think he was drafted by the Denver Nuggets, right? And Rodney Rogers was a beast, though. He was, like I said, big, strong dude, and he was playing basketball with Larry Magic and some other guys, and he talked stuff. He was talking trash to Larry Bird, and this was around the time like when Larry in the '90s, Larry Bird was winding down. Some of those injuries that started catching up with him, and he had a bad back. But I'm gonna play this story that I think it was Jamal Mashburn was telling this story about when Rodney Rogers made the mistake of talking trash to Larry Bird, and so here it goes right here. Let me see.
I remember Rodney Rogers just joking and said something to Larry Bird, like, "Hey, Larry, you ain't hit a jumper since '84." It was kind of a joke, like your old man type deal. Magic heard that. Magic kind of looking. It's like he wasn't offended, but it was like he's logging it. Magic made it an emphasis to get the ball at Larry Bird. Magic Johnson fed Larry Bird the ball probably about 8 times in a row down court.
I knew Magic was going to pass me the ball. I had a 6'6" kid guard me. That don't work.
Larry Bird got the ball on Rodney Rogers, and every time he was about to make a move, he told him what he was going to do. One dribble, pull up, going left, off glass. One dribble, high off glass. One dribble, going right, spin, shot. One dribble, pull up right. And he'll do it, make the basket, next play now. One dribble, pull up left. Oh, I'm going to the basket now, high off the glass, left hand.
I saw Larry Bird say to Rodney Rogers, he went like this. All of a sudden, Rodney Rogers flies by in slow motion, and he's like, "Welcome to the Parachute Club."
Rodney couldn't do anything about it. I saw Larry Bird do exactly what he said he was going to do. He scored 9 times or 8 times in a row and said, "Young fella, look like 84, huh?"
Yeah, so that was Jamal Mashburn was actually the one telling the story, right? And so this was like Team USA practicing for some um Team USA basketball, and Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, Rodney Rogers. I think Jamal Mashburn was there too. And Jamal Mashburn was the one telling the story. But I didn't want to play the video because I wasn't sure if it was going to get some type of strike against it or something. But you don't have basketball players like that no more. I mean, he was telling Rodney Rogers what he was going to do to him, and he was doing it. And isn't Rodney Rogers was a really good basketball player, great basketball player. Rodney Rogers played 12 years in the NBA, and for Larry Bird to have a bad back and be on the decline in his career, and just to be able to abuse Rodney Rogers like that. Now, this little incident with Rodney Rogers and Larry Bird happened, I think, like in 93, 94. So Larry Bird he came into the NBA in 80. So you talking what, 13, 14 years later, 14 years into his career. Then you got Rodney Rogers, who was either in his rookie season or his or his second season in the league, man. And then Larry Bird just gave him that work. You know, I don't, you know, to be able to tell somebody, a professional basketball player, what move you great do, and they still can't be able, you know, they still can't do anything about it, can't stop it. And yeah, so Larry Bird just was abusing this guy, man. And like I said, Rodney Rogers, when he wasn't no slouch, Rodney Rogers was definitely not a slouch. I think Rodney Rogers went on, he had a dirt bike accident and got paralyzed from like the shoulder down. I'm not sure what I gotta look that up, but he wound up having like a dirt bike accident and got paralyzed from like the shoulder down after he played 12 years in the like I said, 12 years in the NBA. Played for the Clippers. He played for Denver. Who else he played for? Clippers. I remember the Clippers. I remember the Denver Nuggets. And I'm not sure who else. But yeah, man, it wasn't a good idea to talk stuff. He was one to Larry Bird. You know, it definitely wasn't a good idea. And Rodney Rogers is not the only player that Rodney Rogers wasn't the only player that Larry Bird did that to. You know, I heard other players too say that, you know, Larry Bird would just let you know what move he was going to give you. And, you know, you wouldn't be able to stop it. He was just, you know, high off the glass, or, you know, you heard him one dribble, then he going to step to the right. That's just crazy. That's crazy. And to be able to do that against elite basketball players like he did, that was just crazy. And man, Magic, you heard him say Magic knew what was up. You know, Magic fed him the ball, and Larry just did his thing from there. And so, yeah, man, when these young guys come into the league, they think that, you know, they take some of them older guys for granted, not knowing that them older guys just got so many tricks and so many moves up their sleeve, man, that, you know, and you just starting out in your career, you think you're gonna be able to match that. It's just crazy, man. But yeah, man, it was just to watch those guys play back in those days. I mean, they just had basketball down to a science. So for anybody who say that, you know, the guys who played in the 80s, you know, couldn't play, that just was, it didn't make no sense. Those guys, like I said, they had basketball down to a science. And if you listen to some of those stories, you'll hear guys like Bernard King. Like Bernard King said that once he get to his spot on the floor, he was unstoppable. If, you know, certain areas on the court that he got to, you know, you wouldn't be able to stop him. And Larry Bird was one of those dudes, you know, just could do what he want when he wanted. And that's why he won, you know, 3 championships. So that's my take on it. I thought that was a cool story coming from Jamal Mashburn. Yeah, and so yeah, that's my take on it. Make sure to like and subscribe. Don't forget to leave a comment. And with that being said, I'll check you all out in the next video. Peace.